Colleen.
Hi.
How are ya?
How are you?
Good, thanks. So, we have our meeting scheduled for today. So, I just wanted to recap on our last meeting. So, just to be clear, so you are going to be having a baby here in about 6 months, and you're just kind of looking for somewhere to stay, and you have a partner, and you're not really sure what's going to happen there and stuff. So I just thought that maybe this meeting would be a good opportunity to brainstorm some of your options, and any option at all.
Okay.
Even if maybe they seem a little unrealistic at first. I mean, no judgment. So I was thinking that maybe we could do a little brainstorming, and then maybe we could really narrow down your options to help you make a decision, or maybe even just send you home with just a couple options to think about, and maybe we can meet again, or whatever works best for you. Does that sound okay?
Sure.
Okay, so I just have a little piece of paper here. I thought maybe we could just write and make it a little easier to see. So let's just start with thinking about some ideas. So what are some options for you, even if they just seem a little ridiculous? What are some things that maybe you could do?
For living arrangements, I could live with my boyfriend and his family.
Okay.
Or my grandmother. We could put my parents down, but I don't know how realistic that one is. I could live with a friend.
Do you have any friend in particular that you're thinking of, or just?
I'd probably have to go from friend to friend. A week here, a week there. Don't want to be a burden. I could stay at a shelter if I really had to. I don't want to do that. Maybe I could get my own apartment. Maybe I don't know what other options are there. I could be homeless. I mean, it's not a good option, but it's an option.
So you want to continue with school, right?
Yes.
You want to graduate?
Hopefully, yes.
Okay, so moving away isn't really an option because you'd like to stay here and graduate from the school, probably, right?
That would be ideal, yeah. So if I went with my grandmother, I would have to switch schools.
How is she quite far away from here?
She lives in Nova Scotia.
Okay, so, okay.
But she would probably be the most willing to have me, so it's kind of I don't know, it's kind of like a pro and a con. So, I don't know.
Okay, are there any other any other places that you can think of that could be a possibility?
I can't really think of any other ones. I could maybe get a job somewhere where I could have free accommodations, like if I was a nanny or something. Although I'm 17,
that's a good idea,
God
actually.
knows I don't know anything, but...
You know what? I'm sure somebody would be happy to have you. Job as a nanny. That's a really good idea, actually. I would have never thought of that myself.
Yeah, I'm pretty smart.
Yes, you are.
I can't think of anything else, though.
Okay, so do you want to maybe go through them and we'll just talk about them individually?
Sure.
Okay, so let's start with living with your boyfriend. So what's his name?
Robert.
Okay. Robert. So he lives with his parents, right?
Yes.
So how do you feel about that situation?
I think it would be nice to live with my boyfriend, have the whole family thing, but all my friends think that he's a loser and that he'll not want me to live there, and he has 8 brothers and there's not a lot of room. So I don't know really how well that would be, but his parents are really nice. And they can babysit for free, so I can go out with my friends.
Yeah, that's true. If that's something that's important to you, then it would be good to have someone available for childcare. So where he has such a large family, is there room there, do you think? Or would they be able to make room probably for a couple extra people? Or
they probably would make room if they absolutely had to. I mean, it wouldn't be ideal, but they wouldn't want me homeless or their grandbaby to be homeless or whatever,
So you said that your friends think that he's a loser.
Mm-hmm.
So how does that make you feel?
Kind of frustrating because maybe he is a loser, but he's still the father of my baby. So, I mean, I can't really change that. It's too late for that. So, like, I'd rather people just be supportive. So, I mean, I kind of feel like I'm going to lose a lot of friends if I moved in with him or whatever, but I feel like I'm going to lose them anyway because he's going to be part of my life anyway, whether I'm living with him or not. So, like, maybe I made a big mistake, but whatever. I'll grow out of it.
Is it possible to maybe find some way to have both? Do you think that if you like addressed your friends and you spoke to them and you talked about your situation and how maybe it's not ideal, but
Mm-hmm.
it's still what's happening right now? Do you think that maybe they would understand? Have you been able to talk to them about it at all?
I've just kind of been avoiding it. I think that's a good idea because it's like I'd rather them either be supportive or just don't say anything at all. Like I'm already dealing with enough. I don't need anyone harping on me about my loser boyfriend.
It would be really, that would be very stressful. That sounds
Yeah.
very like, you probably feel kind of alone if your
Yeah.
friends aren't really supporting you. So, and it's really important to feel that you have support and to feel that you have structure in your life and
Mm-hmm.
that there's people that love you, which I'm sure they do. And so, yeah, I wonder if maybe if you could talk to them and just talk about how you're feeling and maybe if you're just honest. I mean, does that
Mhm.
sound like reasonable, or
Oh,
is
for
that
sure.
maybe too? Do you think that would be kind of stressful?
I think I
or-
should probably address it before the baby comes because things are gonna change. So
Yeah. For sure. Okay. So that's definitely a possibility.
mm-hmm. Yes.
Do you think that's a really, really good possibility, or are you kind of like, I'd rather not?
I wouldn't put it at the top of the list. I don't think.
Okay. So we'll just put a little check maybe just to show that that's definitely a possibility. So how about your grandmother? So you mentioned that you would have to switch schools. How do you feel about that?
I'd be really sad because I'm so close to graduating, but at the same time, like my baby should be my priority, not like going to prom and going to parties and stuff. Like I'd miss my friends, I'd miss my boyfriend, but maybe having a family member involved would be like the safest and like the most structured. So I mean, it could be either a really horrible idea or a really good idea. I just wouldn't know until years down the road looking back.
Yeah.
Yeah, I want to have fun now, though.
Yeah, of course you do. I mean, it's hard to think about not being able to do the things that your friends can do. I mean, you probably maybe feel like you're missing out a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, I don't think it's not wrong to feel that way, or it doesn't make you a bad mom because you want to do the things that all your friends can do. I mean, any girl your age would want to do those things. So, I mean, that's a totally normal feeling. But is that an option to have to change schools, do you think, to be with your grandmother? Do you think that having her support is equally as important or more important than...
Yeah, kind of trumps, all the proms. I mean, I'm going to be 9 months pregnant at prom anyway. Like, who wants to see a pregnant girl at prom?
No, but you'd be beautiful in your little dress, and I'm sure you'd look lovely.
Maternity dress? God. Yeah, I mean, that's probably a better option than the boyfriend, so I'd keep it on the list for sure. It would just have to, I'd have to think about that one.
Do you feel uncomfortable with, I guess when I just think about when you said being pregnant at prom and how you would look, I wonder if, how do you feel about your body, about being pregnant? Do you feel uncomfortable?
I'm going to hate it.
Yeah.
I'm going to get so fat. Like, I used to work out and stuff, now I can't. All my friends are playing soccer and basketball, and I'm stuck doing nothing. And my boyfriend's probably gonna think I'm disgusting, and he's not gonna stay with me. And the stretch marks, and God, like it's the worst thing ever.
It sounds like you feel stressed out about how your body might change and your people's reactions to that.
Yes.
In your life, that you're not sure how they'll respond, just because maybe they're not familiar with it, or...
Yeah, and I have all these cravings, but I don't want to give into them because I don't want to gain any weight.
Well, I mean, yeah, that's if... Okay, so, grandmother's definitely an option.
Yes.
Okay, so your parents. So I think that we had talked about this before, and you weren't really sure if that was a great option for you.
Yeah, my dad, he's really pissed. He's already started packing my stuff, so
Oh.
I'd say that's not an option at this
Okay.
point.
Okay, well, maybe we could revisit it at a later date in your life. You know,
Yes.
maybe if they were to warm up to the idea, or
Yeah.
want to be more involved, we'll just cross that off for now. So friends.
Yes. Well, I mean, now that I think about it, and I've been talking about it, it's probably not a good option because they're not supportive of Robert and mine's relationship. So, like, I can't really think of one friend that is supportive. So maybe I should just cross that one off the list. And they'll be going out and stuff. They don't want a screaming baby in their house, right?
Well, I mean, some friends really, some friends are really good with kids. I mean, you might find that you have some friends that are really willing to help you out and I mean, you never know.
For right away, I think I'll just cross it off the list.
Okay.
I think there's better options.
Sure. So, a shelter.
Ugh.
Okay, well, I mean, you don't have to like,
Yeah.
a lot of these. That's totally fine.
I think that's like a bottom of the list option.
Okay.
Like, it's not ideal. It wouldn't really be safe. Like, 17.
Mm-hmm.
I wouldn't even know how to find a shelter. But, I mean, it's nice to know that there might be something out there, like, if I have
Yeah.
information.
And if
But-
and like I can help you with that. If it came to this, I mean, we can always try to find you a safe place to stay. I mean, we can cross it off the list just to help you narrow your ideas down. But I mean, it's definitely a possibility, and like you're not alone, and we can help you find some resources for that.
Okay.
So, an apartment.
God, I would love to be on my own, have a
Have-
job, but
That would be nice to have some privacy and
Yeah.
independence.
yeah, it would be really nice. But then, then I'm overwhelmed. Like, how do I buy furniture and food and pay bills? And it'd be really nice, but I don't know if it's ideal for right now.
For expense wise.
Yeah.
Yeah. Might
Especially
be.
a new baby.
Might add a little bit of stress. Do you think maybe?
Yeah. Oh, big time.
Okay. So, is that a possibility? Do you think, or
I don't really think it's realistic right now.
for right now?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, it's good to think about future things, but also to keep in mind that your baby is coming, and so hopefully we can settle on something for once it comes. For now, maybe, and then we'll look at future stuff at a later date.
Mm-hmm.
So, homelessness. So, how do you feel about that?
It's terrifying, but I'm sure I won't be homeless. Like, but I guess every homeless person probably said that before they were. But like, yeah, it's not like an option I would choose. So if we're making a list of options, I obviously wouldn't pick that one. But yeah, like I'll just go to a shelter before I'm homeless.
Okay, so maybe we'll just cross that one off too. And what about finding a job, like an in-home job, and maybe they would offer you
Yeah.
a place to stay?
I really like that idea.
I do too.
Because, like, if I have to take time off and stay home with a baby or whatever, like in the summer, and our baby's in the summer anyway, then maybe I could just live somewhere and babysit.
Maybe they would allow you to bring your baby there also.
Yeah, and then, the baby would have friends,
Yeah,
and I'd have supportive people. I think that'd be a really cool idea.
I think it would be too. I think that's a great idea.
Yeah.
So is that definitely a possibility if we're
I
looking
think so.
into nanny type
Yeah.
jobs? Okay.
Maybe I can go to France and be one of those au pairs I see on TV.
Yeah, that would be really cool
Yeah.
actually.
I'll look into it.
Yeah, for sure. It's nice to have a future that you're excited about, for sure, too. So, just to summarize, so our immediate options for after you have your baby is you could live with Robert, you could live with your grandmother, or you could find a job as a nanny and maybe an environment where the family would allow you to live there too. So, I'm thinking maybe just for now I can leave you with these ideas just so you have time to reflect on them and see what's most realistic for you, maybe investigate your options a little bit more, and we can make an appointment for another meeting, and maybe we can narrow it down even more, or maybe you'll have a decision made, and then we can look into that and how that's going to work and how you can transition. Does that sound okay?
Sure.
Wonderful. So I will see you again at this time next week in the same
Awesome.
place and same time.
Thank you.
Okay, great.